Good evening, friends and supporters. My name is Mark Weber, and I want to welcome all of you to the 25th anniversary Gala of Gratitude for Rwanda Rise. What an honor to gather together with you tonight to celebrate the incredible impact of this little organization with big dreams and an incredible vision from Jesus to heal and restore the lost and broken children of the genocide against the Tutsis. What an impact it's made in the lives of thousands of people, our brothers and sisters. We have a special evening planned for you tonight, and we're happy that you're joining us in real time for this storytelling and wonderful celebration. Some of you are sitting in your homes enjoying a meal. Welcome. Others are joining from around the world. And we know some of you may view this as a recording in the days to come. You're all welcome at this table. If you're with us tonight, we encourage you to use the chat window to say hello, ask questions, anything, get a glimpse even of fellow friends here tonight. Put your cursor right now at the bottom of your screen and you'll see the chat symbol. It should be visible. You can write a message, send us a note of thanks, click return on your keyboard, and share it with others. Tonight's event would not be possible without our generous sponsors we are so thankful for. To get started, we want to share thanks to Shilshol Development, the Shetter Group, Tom and Judy Zylstra, F.A. Johnson Development, J. Long Incorporated, Behind the Seams Bridal, Apple of His Eye Charity, and to Bergstrom Creative and Strategy. To all of you, we are deeply thankful. First, I'd like to share a blessing for the evening with all of us. God, we are so thankful for the roots that were planted for Rwanda Rise 25 years ago, amidst a genocide against the Tutsis that claimed almost 1 million lives. Lord, just as you taught us to love our enemies with one act of profound love, Emmanuel began a journey of hope and forgiveness despite the killing of his own family, to shelter lost children with the widows that were left behind. God, we're so grateful for your voice calling out to Emmanuel to bring light into the terrible darkness of the genocide. And God, thank you for each person who has also stepped into the light of grace and work that's made the 25-year vision of Rwanda Rise raise so many people out of physical and spiritual poverty and into hope and light. We ask the Lord to bless our time tonight, to bless the people still in great need in Rwanda. And may each of you watching and with us tonight be blessed. Amen. Thank you for being with us. Enjoy this Gala of Gratitude and the 25th anniversary celebration of Rwanda Rise.
Yesu ndiye dereva, tutafika salama. Yesu ndiye dereva, tutafika salama.
Hata safari ni ndefu, tutafika salama. Ndugu usife moyo, Yesu ndiye dereva. Ndugu yangu usife moyo, Yesu ndiye dereva, atatufikisha vema. Yesu ndiye dereva, tutafika salama.
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 Yesu ndiye dereva,
'Cause
Tonight we can't take you to Rwanda, so we're going to bring a bit of Rwanda to you. It's our great privilege and honor to welcome tonight Adrian Misigaro, one of Rwanda's most beloved artists, and his group, the New Hope Rwanda Dancers.
Nyigisha kubyuka hakiri kare mu gitondo izuba ritararasa, nzafatanye n'inyoni mu rukerera kuvuga gukomera kwawe, nibutsa wongere unyibutse, nimbyibagirwa mwami uzanyibutse, mbyutsa kare ntiwemere ko ndyamira, mpore mvuga ineza yawe ku buzima bwanjye.
Ibiguruka n'inyamaswa z'ishyamba birahimbaza ndetse nabyo ukabyumva, ni kuki se umuntu waremye yakwibagirwa umuremyi wa byose. Nyibutsa wongere unyibutse, nimbyibagirwa mwami uzanyibutse, mbyutsa kare ntiwemere ko ndyamira, mpore mvuga ineza yawe ku buzima bwanjye, mbyutsa kare mu gitondo Ntiwemere ko ndyamira,
mpore mvuga ineza,
mvuga ineza, mvuga ineza,
ubuzima bwanjye.
mvuga ineza.
Nubona naniwe ncitse intege, ntundekure, nsubizamo imbaraga. Nubona naniwe ncitse intege, ntundekure, nsubizamo imbaraga. Nubona naniwe ncitse intege, ntundekure, nsubizamo imbaraga. Nyibutsa wongere unyibutse,
Some of you know Emmanuel Sitaki, the founder of Rwanda Rise. He'd like to take this opportunity to share and recognize a few of the many people who have walked alongside him on this 25-year journey.
To all of you who have been involved with this ministry, Rwanda Rise Ministries, I want to express our gratitude and thanks. You stood with us, and we are continuing to change life. Thank you. I bring also Lahash International with Dan Harcum, who was the director of that organization, have been involved with orphans. Bring Simplicity Ministry, who have been providing Bibles for each student each year on our campus. Mike Tibiro, thank you so much. We also thank Apofizai with TJ Cadwell, have been supportive from the beginning, and we are very thankful. Hey!
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Barry.
Hello, TJ.
You know, the reason of the calling is just to express our gratitude and thanks, and I just want to tell you from bottom of my heart that we really appreciate you.
From our standpoint, God is working through you in a miraculous way, because 25 years is really hard to imagine from when we first met in Portland.
Yeah.
Your heart for the people of Rwanda. That's what we remember.
It's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too. On behalf of Rwanda Rise, and personally express my gratitude and thanks.
We're also grateful, Emmanuel, that you gave us an opportunity. You gave us an opportunity to join in something that God had called you to, and subsequently called us to.
Well, I'm very honored to be a part of this.
You're already part of this. I just want to say thank you. Thank you from bottom of my heart. God bless.
God bless you.
For everyone who have been involved, who are still involved, and who want to get involved, we welcome you and we thank you. May God bless you.
To begin, thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Lois. I work at Hope Vocational Training Center in Rwanda. One of my jobs is to supervise an orphan program that started several years ago, soon after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. I want to tell you about a little boy. One of the first orphans to be supported by ARM Rwanda. The boy was about 3.5 years when the genocide started. His mother, his father, and his 2 young sisters were killed. The boy and his elder brother survived because a priest hid them during the killings. After the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi ended, they came out of hiding. But they were very young. They had no parents or home to live in. Many kids roamed the streets looking for food and shelter. One day, something very special happened to the little boy and his brother. They met a man on the street who offered to help them find a home to live in. The little boys didn't want to be separated from each other, so the man found a widow who accepted to host the little boys into her family. The little boys moved in, and it felt so good to have a home. The man who made all the arrangements continued to visit them and give support money to the widow for the boys. When it was time for the elder brother to go to school, the little boy cried until they let him go to school and be in the same classroom with his elder brother. The little boy did well in school even though he was younger. As years went by, the man who had placed them with the widow was always there to help them solve problems and to pay for the boys to get an education. Eventually, after 7 years living with the widow, she suddenly died. The man found homes for the boys, but this time there was no place for both of them to be in the same family. So they were each placed in a different family, but still they attended school together. The two brothers continued to do well in school, and they both finished their 12 years with honors. About 7 years after graduating, he decided to seek more information about his family that had died in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. He went on to talk to the priest and learn more about his early years of survival. The priest talked about the atrocities and the hard times that the little boy went through during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, together with several hundreds of other orphans. And he decided that he wanted to do something to help the other orphans like himself have a better future. That is when he went back to the man who had helped him and his brother all these years and asked him if he can come work for ERM Rwanda at the Hope Vocational Training Center. You have probably guessed by now that the little boy is me, and the man who rescued me and my brother is Emmanuel Sitaki.
For those who've never heard the sequence of events that occurred between 1994 and today, we've asked Mike Andrews, a board member of Rwanda Rise, to interview Emmanuel. Our hope is to share why the Rwanda Rise work is so crucial to the future of life and restoration that continues in Rwanda today.
Emmanuel, welcome.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah,
Please.
thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been too long.
Yeah.
So, Emmanuel, for those who don't know your story, let's start in 1994, just days before the genocide against the Tutsis began.
Yes, Mike, I was going to school in Congo, Kinshasa, and then just planned to visit my family, just a surprise visit. Mm-hmm. And when I got there, my brother, who was working with United Nations, he ordered me to leave and go back immediately. So the next day, I took the last flight from Kigali, and that's how I escaped the genocide. My brother, his wife and kids were killed. I lost 35 relatives in the genocide against the Tutsi in 1994.
And after the genocide against the Tutsi, I know that you didn't want to go back to Rwanda because you believed all of your family members were dead.
Yes.
But a year and a half later, you did go back.
Yeah.
And what did you experience when you went back?
At that time, it was a horrible experience. Skeletons were lined up on the street. Hopeless, helpless orphans were just begging for help.
And tell us about Louis and his brother and how you rescued them.
Yes, at that time, I was going around trying to find any relatives, and I saw 9 orphans running to me asking help. And I took them home, and then the next day I was going around to get some widows who will take these children in their home. You know, James 1, 27 says, the true religion is this, to help orphans and the widows in their distress, not being corrupted by the world. So that's how the vision came alive.
So let's talk about the Hope Vocational Training Center. How did it get started?
A man who was trying to help out, he started this small school, teaching orphans and the widows, making craft to sell to the market. I was offered the opportunity to carry on that vision because I had a non-profit registered in Rwanda, helping orphans and the widows, which was the match. It fits what I was trying to do.
So I know, Emmanuel, you had a much bigger vision than just sewing and craft work. Tell us more about the students at the Hope Vocational Training Center.
Yeah, last year we graduated 244 students in sewing, welding, masonry, hairdressing, and culinary arts. And we train our students how to start small businesses, and that help to create jobs.
What does the school need now?
We are excited to add more programs and enroll more students. If we have the equipment, if we have the resources, we can double the numbers. We have some needs, we have some challenge. We have 120 students on our campus who are staying there because they are very poor, they cannot pay the transportation going back and forth. But if they are staying on our campus, water is a great need. Water is very precious. We started collecting the water from the rain season. We got these tanks, but the water is not drinkable. We are in great need with water filtrations. So if we can get that, then we can be able to supply the drinkable water for our students and for our staff there. We can also, if we got the mechanical skills program added, then we can be able to have more students on our campus.
So Emmanuel, when you started 25 years ago, you had a big vision.
Yes.
And you've seen a lot of growth. Tell us what that vision looks like today as you look forward.
The vision remained the same, and we really want to see in the country of Rwanda, like in each region, a vocational training center to train and give the skills those young teens can use for providing for themselves, but also extend that opportunities to others.
So where would you put the second school?
We want to extend the next vocational training center in a poor area, and this is the eastern province of our country. The village is called the Rugendabari village. But as God provides, if we can, we went there, we located a piece of land that will fit our extension, building an extension at that location will be able to serve these kids in the village of Rugendabari, but also others in that region.
And how much would it cost to buy the land for this next school?
Piece of land that can fit what we want to do that is 25,000. But if we can purchase that right now, then we can have with a reasonable price.
So timing is important.
Very important, and this is a great need,
So when you look to the future, to the next 25 years, what do you envision for Rwanda and for Rwanda Rise?
Yes, I vision Rwanda with peace. Rwanda Rise is a part of that. Because when we are training these young teens, young adults, to have a means, to have a vocation, skills, that will create jobs and expand, the the prosperity in the country of Rwanda. I usually said when the stomach is empty, it's hard to listen. But when these teens will be involved in providing for themselves, and then the growth of the country will be known. Now they have a bright future. They are zealed to transform their own communities. Because when we leave behind these young adults, it's a danger for the nation. But when we give them a means to work for themselves, to provide for themselves, then, the progress will be tangible.
Well, Emmanuel, on behalf of those who know the ministry and know you, I want to say thank you for your leadership, for your faith, and for your commitment to this ministry and to creating Hope Vocational Training Center and your vision for the future. You are an inspiration to many.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Because together, I believe we can change the nation.
I want to share with you that we've set a bold goal tonight to raise $100,000. We've got some incredible news to share towards that goal. A group of donors that love Rwanda Rise have come together to create a matching gift of $50,000. That means every gift you make up to the first $50,000 tonight will be doubled. To put a child through vocational training school costs $750. Tonight, if you give $750, 2 young people transform their lives forever. Tonight, if you're able to push to $1,500, that reaches $3,000, and 4 kids begin a new life. Let's talk about what you can do to help right now. We've identified one critical new vocation that would be extremely helpful to offer students. Mechanics are in incredible demand right now across Rwanda, as many of the vehicles in the country have aged over time. Good news is we have available space right now on our campus, and we have built a plan to build the mechanic shop with our own student labor and our own teams. This is where you come in. We need the funding to buy the materials to build that mechanics building. It's going to cost $30,000. Perhaps that's on your heart tonight, to make that entire amount and build a vocational school that changes lives for generations ahead. A $5,000 gift tonight becomes $10,000, and we're on the road to building our 6th vocational school. As Emmanuel shared earlier, the land in the eastern province of Rwanda is very reasonable to buy right now. We know, though, times are changing, and we know that window will close ahead. Our big dream tonight is to purchase the land right now for the next Hope Vocational Training Center that will allow us to expand training to another 500 or more students a year. Right now, that land for the school is just $25,000. Imagine being able to transform the lives of hundreds of young people, hungry to learn, with a gift of $25,000. To give a Rwandan child a skill, you give them a future. $25,000 tonight kicks off that big dream to help Rwanda Rise build our next vocational school in Rugendabari. If God's calling you to buy that land tonight, we're going to ask you to lean in and give big. Running a vocational school requires ongoing funding as we stay ahead of all 5 schools over time. Here's some examples of where your gift could go right now towards helping us continue to serve the students we have. To reach our big dream goal of $100,000 tonight, we're going to need some big gifts. A $10,000 gift and we begin the process of creating clean water for 100 students right now. $25,000 tonight, and we move immediately to buy the land in eastern Rwanda. We'd like to now give you some time to consider the gift that you want to make tonight, your generosity to help us make an impact in Rwanda. If you look at the bottom of your screen right now, in the chat section, you should see a link being shared. It will say rwandarise.org/give. This is where you can make your donation online. Just click on it now. It'll take you to a form to share your online donation. If you're not able to make your donation online, that's okay. We supplied donation envelopes with your invitation, and also if you're dining with us and sharing a meal, we sent envelopes along with you tonight. One other option is to find the email we sent this morning. It has a link back to our website donation page. We're going to give you several minutes right now to reflect and think about the donation and the impact you're able to make with us tonight. Remember, every dollar you give generously will be doubled up to $50,000. We want to see how we can bless the lives of countless young people in Rwanda ahead. As our music plays, and we're blessed again by Adrian Misigaro, we'll take a few minutes, and I'll be back shortly to share some closing comments. On behalf of all the team at Rwanda Rise, we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us tonight for this special celebration of 25 years of Rwanda Rise, and especially for your deep generosity and your prayers, which we covet as we dream big together to transform the lives of generations of young people in Rwanda together. Good night to all of you, and may God bless you.
Yesu ndiye dereva, tutafika salama. Yesu ndiye dereva, tutafika salama.
Hata safari ni ndefu, tutafika atatufikisha vema. Yesu ndiye dereva, tutafika salama.
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 Yesu ndiye dereva, salama tutafika.
Yesu ndiye dereva, tutafika salama.
Si njia rahisi ninayopitia, lakini Jehova ndiye jemadari. Si njia rahisi ninayopitia, lakini Jehova ndiye jemadari. Salama nitasonga mbele, sitarudi nyuma, mema yako mbele